What's up, everyone? I'm the nostalgic book potato. Today I'm doing a book tag. This is my first ever tag video. I didn't do the booktube newbie tag. I just did a welcome to my channel video, and I thought that was enough. If you want me to do the newbie thing, let me know. So today's tag is from one of my all-time favorite booktubers, Carrie from Carrie Can Read. She just made a new book tag, and I'm really excited about it. It's the Where My Lore Started book tag. The first question is, what's the first book you remember reading by yourself? Ooh, so kids' books, that's kind of hard. I remember loving Magic Treehouse, Beverly Clearly books, The Babysitter's Club, but I think the first one would have to be a picture book, right? I have a strong memory of reading and loving Westlandia by Paul Fleischman. I think it was about a boy who was maybe new to town and didn't feel like he fit in. So he made up his own world, or land. I think his name was Wesley, so he created Westlandia. He made up his own games and language, made his own clothes and stuff. I remember thinking that was really cool. I also remember reading the original Arthur books. Back when he looked more like an aardvark. It was weird looking, but at least more accurate. What character did you most identify with in elementary school? I don't really remember strongly identifying with a book character. Maybe Anne of Green Gables, but honestly, I love the movie more than I remember reading the book. Beacon Follows is an icon, and Jonathan Crombie was the best Gilbert. This totally sparked my love for enemies to lovers romance and also childhood friends to lovers. They were so cute. So yeah, back to the question. I think Anne of Green Gables, her love of reading, being a total nerd, and being a headstrong kid. That was totally me. What was your elementary school comfort book? Ooh, The Lost Diary of King Tut's Mummy. For its cheeky humor and because I loved ancient Egypt as a kid, The Mummy changed me. I became obsessed with ancient Egyptian stuff. Still am, honestly. But apparently, this was a whole series that followed different historical figures. Somehow, my reading kick in grad school, which I'll talk about later, also reignited a core memory of this book, and I found all these other books. Where or what was your safe space as a kid? Books for sure. I always carried a book around everywhere. Wherever my mom dragged me, I had a book in hand and would just sit in the corner and read. Scholastic book fairs were the best thing ever invented. How has your taste in books changed since childhood? Ooh, well, I basically only like to read smut now, so that's a big change. I still like fantasy books and books with humor, but my mainstay is romance, smutty ass romance. I don't think I ever thought that would be me, but I did grow up watching my mom's soap operas, like Days of Our Lives and Passions, so maybe that instilled in me that love of drama and romance. Did you feel inspired to read by your school? And if yes, how did your upbringing encourage reading? I think so, yeah. We had a great school librarian. Like, when she read to us, she did these voices for the characters. I remember for Halloween books, she had this hilarious cackle for the witches. It was amazing. My parents always bought me books for my birthday and would take me to the bookstore, so I was blessed for sure. What book have you wanted to return to lately? So, for this channel, I want to spend most of my time revisiting books I've already read, including super nostalgic reads from my childhood and from school. So, I don't want to reveal too much, but something I would love to reread but probably won't get to for a while because I can't find them all is The Series of Unfortunate Events by Lemony Snicket. I remember loving these books. The humor and the way it was written was something I had never experienced before. It was witty and clever and smart, and I loved it. I have all the books somewhere, and I found a few of the later ones, but I really want to read the whole series again. So until I can unearth them all from the depths of the basement, that'll have to wait. Your favorite or formative YA series? Probably Series of Unfortunate Events, as I said. I also remember loving Redwall. I watched the show too. I think that instilled an early love of fantasy. The first two books of the Ugly series. Oh, The Amazing Days of Abby Hayes. My best friend and I love that. I remember they were written in like purple ink. They were really cool. My best friend and I also read the Angus series, but one of the books is called like My Boyfriend is a Sex God, so my mom wouldn't buy that one for me. I remember loving those two series because the main characters had a really distinct and hilarious voice. Like their inner monologues were great. Ooh, probably a really big throwback. The Mary-Kate and Ashley adventures. I grew up loving Mary-Kate and Ashley. Not so much Full House, though I did read some of those books too, but like all their movies in the 90s and early 2000s, so good. I also remember reading California Diaries. Did anyone else read those? Ooh, I also read some of the Gossip Girl books, but I only watched like season one of the show. What's a book you had to read in school but you loved? The Giver. I won't elaborate because that'll actually be a video. Your weirdest favorite book? Um, I don't remember liking anything particularly weird. And honestly, I feel like anything that was weird back then was just par for the course. I don't know, maybe like Captain Underpants or like Stinky Cheese Man. If your 13-year-old self could live in a fictional world, which would it be? Is it different from the world you choose now? I don't think I've ever thought about living in a fictional world. I think it's nice to escape, but I don't really think about actually inhabiting any of those places, so sorry, boring answer. Is there a newly released book you wish you had when you were younger? I wonder how I would have felt reading Jenny Han's books. I read The Summer I Turned Pretty in grad school. Literally stayed up all night and binged the whole series as an adult. I don't remember any Asian YA authors, especially ones writing romance when I was growing up. And now there are so many. Like, I bought Maureen Gu and Amanda Chow's books after I read The Summer I Turned Pretty. I think it would have been cool to see young Asian girls falling in love and dealing with their immigrant parents, trying to fit in when you're like the only Asian kid in your class. The only Asian media I consumed when I was young were K dramas. And that's different because it's Koreans in Korea, not Koreans dealing with life in North America. So it was seeing people that look like me, which is nice, but it just wasn't the same, you know? Like if I read Frankly in Love by David Yoon as a teen, it might have broken me. So maybe it's a good thing that I didn't read it till I was an adult. So that's the last question for Carrie's book tag, and the end of part one of Where My Lore Started. But I've seen on Instagram people doing the What's Your Lore thing and are posting about whatever things that they were obsessed with that really influenced them. So there are a few other pivotal pieces of media other than books that I really think contributed to my lore. So stay tuned for part two. Let me know what books are part of your lore. Okay, bye!